Yes. All right, comrades. I think we are going to push that live show now from this platform now this way, and I hope everything is all right with the camera now. So as you join, please kindly share the link. Let us get others on board, and then we roll. I started before, but my camera was not right, so I deleted the show, and then now we are doing a new show. So thank you for joining, comrades. As you join, please kindly share the link. Let us get others on board, and Welcome back. Welcome back, comrades. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Yes. Thank you for joining. Please share. Let us get others on board. We have a lot to talk about today, Ambazonians. There is a lot to talk about today. So kindly share the link. Let us get more people on board, and we ride on. Thanks for coming. And please, Gideon Tem is there. James Tato, good morning, Ambazonian, Diplomat. Yes, thank you, comrade. So let us have some few minutes to interact, Ambazonians, as we come on. Kindly type a comment there. I want to talk with you. If you have a question, if you have anything to say, please drop me a comment there. Let us interact. Say hello. Thank you for coming. Gideon is there. James Tato is there. Please type a comment. Ophelia Mbele is there. Thanks for coming, comrade. Share the link and share. Let us get more people on board, and then we kick on the live show. So if you are just joining, this is Comrade Ufoka Eugene, your humble Ambazonian diplomat, the son of the soil from Tico, is here to talk with you today, fellow Ambazonians. I want to unpack to you your weekly dosage of diplomatic update, the state of our revolution, and generally many other critical analysis and things that we want to look at where we are today with our struggle for independence. And I want to extend a very, very, very great thank you to the team of the Ambazonian Communication Network, ACN, for giving us a platform also to broadcast this message on their satellite TV. We appreciate the opportunity to have a big, broader platform to put our message and talk to our people directly in Ground Zero. So if you are watching me from Ground Zero, I want to extend my sincere gratitude for your tenacity. I want to appreciate and applaud your sacrifice and what you are doing to free our homeland. And I want to extend to you that we in the diaspora, we are fully with you, and we shall fight together until we get to Boya. So I thank the team of ACN for giving us that platform to extend our message down to Ground Zero. So if you are joining again, this is Ufoka Eugene, and the program name is Diplomatic Valise. The reason I call this program the Diplomatic Valise is because we think of a bag, a suitcase that is full of diplomatic things, and we unpack them to Ambazonians weekly. So in the days ahead, Ambazonians, and the weeks ahead, we are going to bring you very high top class guests, people from the international community, politicians and MPs that we shall talk with. But please, if you are joining this live show, we are just starting. I haven't started anything yet. Share and invite others to come on board. We have a lot to talk about today. We want to talk about the politics of this revolution. It's something that I want to emphasize on Ambazonians enough that we almost understand what is going on. We want to talk again about Cameroun, the state of the colonial Cameroun. What is happening to Cameroun? Where is Cameroun today? We are going to talk about those things. And we shall talk about the last and the most powerful weapon in the hand of Cameroun to destroy and to derail the struggle of Southern Cameroons. And that weapon is the colonial divide of Southern Cameroonians. And we need people to understand that at this very moment, Ambazonians, what is going on with our struggle. So welcome again to this live show. This is a place where I give you facts, I give you information, and it's up to you to decide. It's up to you to make your own conclusions. And if you come here, you're coming here for information. You're not coming here to be indoctrinated. No, we are clearly here to give information. And I just got information also now that we are on satellite and the people on Ground Zero are watching. I want to extend our salute to them and to all our fighters on the ground, all our commanders, all our generals, all our community leaders. We appreciate you and we honor your sacrifice. So just as we are starting, I will perhaps bring us a song while we wait for few Ambazonians to join. Please, we are just starting this live show. Share and share, and let us get others on board, and we can continue. Yes, it's Sunday, and it's your weekly package from the Ambazonian Diplomat. Yeah.
Assistant Vice President for Digital Services and Chief Information Officer, Office of Technology and Digital Services.
Let's get others on board, Ambazonians. Let's get others on board. Let me just look through my notes. We still have a lot to talk about here today. Welcome, welcome, and share the link. Let us get others on board. Welcome once again, comrades. Welcome. Please share and share and share. Share in forums, in WhatsApp groups. This is like, knowledge is very important. These are the critical times that we must give out information. So mass and massive distribution of information is very important right now, Ambazonians. Share and share. Let's get others on board. And those of you watching from Ground Zero, we appreciate your support. I'm seeing my brothers from Mutengene watching. You people are the heroes of this revolution. Those of you from Tiko watching, I see them. Tiko, I see Likumba people here watching. I appreciate your support. Those from Musaka, I see Munya people here as well also. Bolifamba people watching. Let's get others on board. Let's get others on board, and we ride on. Let's get others on board. About watching from Southern Cyprus. Comrades, we are together. Okay, I think that we can start to. We can ride on. We can start to move on, Ambazonians. Let me bring our anthem and then we start the live show. Hey, this land of glory, we the Ambazonians, we pledge our loyalty. Is the Son of Savior who granted us our freedom, allegiance to the hero who bought the land with their blood. Glory to glory, we rise to never to fall. Here in a nation flowing with milk and honey. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation and joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of His nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Yes, fellow Ambazonians. Thank you, and we always thank God for a new day. We always thank God that we are alive. We always thank God to be together once more. Because we know that our people in Ground Zero are being killed, they are being slaughtered on a daily basis by the brutal regime of Mr. Paul Biya in Yaoundé. We know that it's a privilege because the people of Southern Cameroon, Ambazonians, we are a species that is now endangered. We know that it is by the grace of God and the strength and the resistance of our soldiers that our population can live and see another day. Because our right to life have been critically compromised by the Cameroon regime, because the Cameroon regime is on a mission to commit genocide and to wipe out the last breeding Southern Cameroonian that is living on the soil. Fellow Ambazonians, when I come to you, our people always want us to look deep within ourselves all the time. Self-reflection is very important. If you're on a journey, if you're on a mission, it is very important, and it is important as life itself to always reflect. Where are you and where are you going? Ambazonians, we were a people destined by the United Nations to be an independent state. We were a people governed by the United Kingdom with a constitution that was made and was implemented in UK, and we have a government. We were a people that were destined for their own right to self-determination. But what happened to that? The United Nations and France and Cameroon hijacked and stole our own freedom. They took away your birthright. They took away your dignity. They took away your culture. They took away who you are. And they stripped you from all of those things. But we fought and we are still fighting today to restore what we have. God-given right, God-given identity, God-given culture, and the right under international law to fulfill the destiny that we were supposed to fulfill by United Nations, making us a trustee territory to become an independent state. That is who you are, Ambazonians. Don't listen to anything less. Don't listen to anything that is not reflecting of your true identity as a people. A beautiful people from a beautiful piece of land in Africa. One of the most blessed, most richest, most prosperous piece of land in the world. Ambazonians, those are your things. That is who you are. But today, and for the past 55 years, Cameroon moved their soldiers into your territory. Cameroon came into our villages, captured our people, dethroned our chiefs, installed their own colonial chiefs, and gave you a new identity. And Cameroon inscribed to you in your brain through the education that you are nothing but a second-class citizen. That you are nothing but a man from Southwest. That you are nothing but a man from the Northwest. Ambazonians, I want to have a journey with you today. I want to sit down with Ambazonians today. We will have to go down the timeline of Southern Cameroons. So we must go back again to look into our own self-origin identity. Who were the people of Southern Cameroon before the Germans? Who were the people of Ambazonia before the Germans stepped their foot to colonize Cameroon? And when we're talking about Cameroon, the German Cameroon Ambazonians, never forget, it is made up of 5 counties today. It is made up of 5 different counties. So there was nothing as Cameroon. We are talking about the German Cameroon that goes back to right up to Chad and Gabon and Central African Republic. So don't be confused. Ambazonians, I want us to go back then. So we will be able to see who we are today. Because we are suffering from a colonial identity that was given to us by Cameroon. And the reason Cameroon gave us the identity was to divide and rule us easily. We all know, Ambazonians, that if you want to rule and conquer a people, you need to divide them and put them to fight one another. Then you easily rule and divide them. So, Ambazonians, now this is the thing that we are talking about here. You have a Cameroon regime that has been defeated. You have a regime that has crumbled, that has failed, internationally and within. And when you have such a regime, they are desperate And now their act of desperations are seen everywhere. They go around, they burn our villages, they massacre, they rape our women, they steal from farms, they steal from livelihoods in Ambazonia, they rob people from their money, they rob banks in Ambazonia. You see a regime that is dead, a desperate regime. And this regime start to metamorphose into another element. And the element is the element that they want to make it look like they are oppressing people. Cameroon is trying to transform themselves to look like Ambazonia. And how are they doing that? Stay put and follow with me here. This is why we need to tell Ambazonians today. It is very important. When this struggle started, when we pick up things in 2016, Cameroon was fighting Ambazonia. Cameroon politicians, their leaders, their citizens and their people were fighting Ambazonians. But if you look at what is going on today, no, Cameroon is not fighting Ambazonia. Cameroon is using Ambazonians to fight against Ambazonia. And that is coming from a long historical account. And that is why I was saying in the beginning that we need to revisit our identity. Who were the people of Southern Cameroons before the Germans, before we were later on partitioned and given to the British. We need to look through into those things. And Ambazonians, I will reveal some things to you about Cameroon Colonial Prime Minister Mr. Diongute. Very important fact you need to know about that man. I will also touch a bit about the issue of this, what is his name? They call him what? Is it Moja Moja or Jonga Jonga? This guy who is walking around with shorts in Boya. I will talk about that guy, so we will unpack those. Even at Tanganji, I will give people some understanding of what is happening. Now, Ambazonians, when we pick up this revolution in 2016, Cameroon fought us with their leaders, with their people, with their TV, with everything they had. We defeated them. And within these 4 years, Cameroon is now very understandable. Cameroon knows that Ambazonians have defeated them. Their last weapon that they have is to now infiltrate Ambazonia. It's not infiltrate our struggle. That is why Cameroon is buying activists, leaders, and Ambazonians to infiltrate the movement. When you infiltrate a movement, that's the easiest way to bring it down. You don't need to go in and capture the head of the people. No, you infiltrate the masses. You cause chaos. And when you cause chaos, what happens to the people? They will scatter and go their separate ways. If you know in the Bible, there was a story of a people, of a generation, building a tall tower to go to heaven. They were almost going to heaven. But what did God do? He gave them different languages. He caused confusion among them. They couldn't speak. They couldn't understand themselves anymore. And what happened? They abandoned their massive project. They went their separate ways. And everything that they have been doing for the past hundreds of years was abandoned. If you want to kill any movement, infiltrate them. So when we are telling Ambazonians that Cameroon has paid infiltrators, Nambere, Sox Congo, many of them, Mimi Minfo, I can name them all. Many of these people, I don't need to call their names. Cameroon has paid them, and they are now in the struggle, in the diaspora and in ground zero, causing confusion and infusing division. That is one of their strategy. And another key thing Cameroon is doing is to please the international community. How are they doing that? Cameroon is now fully understanding that the international community is watching. So Cameroon have a policy now to put Ambazonians in positions of power to use them against their own people. That is why, listen, this guy who was made the president of the Secretary General of the Presidency, Emmanuel Ngongo, that guy was a maybe clerk or secretary of the Cameroon embassy in New York. He was doing nothing. He was a nobody. But because of this political thinking, Cameroon want to portray a better image in the international system. Then they advise them, find a Cameroonian, find an Ambazonian who is an Ambazonian with the names Ambazonian, and then you put this guy in a position of authority. Place them in position of authority. They brought in a Tanganji. Many other Ambazonians also have been given powers of position of power in Cameroon. It is not because Cameroon really need them. It's because Cameroon want to use them to show a face in the international system. So they brought in Emmanuel Ngongo, put him as the Secretary General of the Presidency, and they gave him the signature of Mr. Paul Biya to actually run and govern the country. Ambazonians, you know that that is not possible, right? They can never give power to an Anglophone. It's just a window dressing. They know very well, and they do a window dressing there, and they put the guy up in that position. They brought in Diongute, the prime minister is there, Atanganji is there. The list is long. The list is long. And our people must understand this. This is even reflecting also with the last election. Why is Cameroon bringing back something that they voted for almost 20 years ago, but they never implemented it? They only saw now that it's important to bring back the chiefs because they want to use the chiefs to tap into Ambazonians. They know that we are a people of dignity, people who love our culture and identity. They know that Ambazonians will respect our traditional rulers. And that is why Cameroon wanted to bring back the chiefs, install the chiefs, and use the chief as their puppet to govern southern Cameroons. Because their colonial governors have failed, their colonial deals have failed, all their colonial is not functioning. They have all failed. We must understand these things. And that is why we continue to call Ambazonians that we must keep our eyes on the prize. Our eyes on the prize. How long, Ambazonians, do you think Cameroon can continue to travel with their ministers, to travel with their governors in armored cars and bunkers? How long? Not too much long. Not so long, they can't. You know, Cameroon is dead. Cameroon is now a shadow of itself. And Ambazonians must understand this thing. And now the most powerful weapon that Cameroon have is the weapon of using Ambazonians against themselves. And that is where we have been weak for the past 55 years. Listen, when you go back, I'm not a history teacher, and I'm not going to educate you on history of Amazonia here. I know that most of you watching this live show, you know the history of Southern Cameroon even more than me. There are many educated, competent, well-qualified Ambazonians who know the history of our country. They can tell you that there was nothing as Southwest and Northwest. There was never anything as Southwest and Northwest in Amazonia. No. Cameroon carved out this Southwest and Northwest to make their 10 provinces of Cameroon, to put us to integrate us into their country. That was what they did. And then they gave you, listen, they gave you a new identity. And Ambazonians, we have been so silly. This is why if anybody who knows me, you can go back and ask those who know people who have history of me when I was down there in Tico in school. I never use this pronunciation Southwest and Northwest. No, I don't. It's the same today. I never call myself a black person. I'm an African. I'm not a black person. Nobody is black or white. You know, those are colonial identities given to you by Cameroon. It's the same, the colonial powers, the Europeans came to Africa. They colonized us. They took our parents, took us as slaves to Europe. They gave us a new identity. They call you black. They call themselves white. By calling you black, they put you in a lower category of human race. They put themselves higher. Cameroon came, colonized Ambazonia, and gave you a new identity, call you a Southwest man and call you a Northwest person. Divide you into small tiny pieces and reduce your identity and your strength. And we have been so weak and silly, Ambazonians. Over the past 55 years, we have been calling ourselves Northwest and Southwest and believing in this false identity given to us by Cameroon. But I am here today to expose this thing to you that from today, I compel Ambazonians, we should stop using this Southwest and Northwest. And even when we get to Boy Ambazonians, we are going to redraw our country. We are going to rearrange Ambazonia. The so-called Southwest and Northwest is not going to exist because those things are colonial lines. We are going to dissolve them. Listen, I know people who were, I don't need to say this since Ambazonia, you already know. You already know there was no difference between coming from, people used to move from Kupe Maninguba to Bamenda without going through Loom. People used to move from Boya, from Limbe, they go to Kupe Maninguba, go through Manfe, and they get into Bamenda. By foot, we used to have like local trade by barter within these places. People were moving around so freely. There was no such thing as Northwest and Southwest. It was never there. Cameroon brought these things to use as a tool to divide and to govern Southern Cameroonians. And we have been so silly over the years to believe and be taking these identities. And Ambazonian, it is about time those things have to stop. Nobody is from Southwest, nobody is from Northwest. We are Ambazonian. There is no Southwest and there is no Northwest of Ambazonia. No, there is maybe North and South and East and West as geography. There is no such thing as a Northwest person, as a Southwest person. There is none. There is none. If you want to identify with Cameroon's identity, then you need to cross over the Mongo and go to Cameroon. And you can identify there as a Cameroonian. But if you're in Southern Cameroons, we have one national identity as people of Southern Cameroon with 13 counties. We don't need anything else. We don't need any new identity given to us by Cameroon. Your parents are aware of this. Our parents are aware of these things. People who grew up, they saw these things within their eyes when Cameroon gave the name Southwest and Northwest. And now, Ambazonians are clinging. Listen, Ambazonians, we have to get rid of everything Cameroon. We have to reject their currency, their colonial currency, CFA France. We have rejected their education. We have rejected their legal system. We reject their occupation. We are going to reject even the so-called names and identity they give us. We cannot be fleeing away from Cameroon and taking their so-called colonial names and colonial demarcations. These guys, a man for says 1972, they brought these 10 provinces. 1972. So you cannot run from Cameroon and then you are still calling yourself Southwest and Northwest. Ambazonians, listen, it was the same in 2016 when this struggle kicked up. We had a meeting with a bunch of good Ambazonians, powerful groups of people, and we were talking. And in that group, it included listen, I'm always saying these things for facts and for the record. There was Dr. Akwanga Ebenezer, there was Dr. Abacho Lucas, and many other leaders. And in that meeting, two people stood out very clearly. Akwanga Ebenezer and Dr. Abacho Lucas. I'm saying this for the record. They said we should not call ourselves Cameroon. We should leave the so-called Cameroon identity, Southern Cameroon. We should focus on calling ourselves Ambazonians, as Fondinjika has been doing as well. I was a young man back then. It's almost 3 years ago. And I was naive. And I said to them, why do we want to call ourselves Ambazonians? Why don't we use the colonial name Southern Cameroons? And the same explanation they said to me, young man, we need to tell the world who we are. We don't need to tell the world don't need to call us a certain name. We need to give our own identity. We must call ourselves Ambazonians, and the world is going to call us Ambazonians. And Ambazonians, to be honest, I thought these people were joking. But within 3 years today, Ambazonians, the whole international community is calling the people of Southern Cameroons Ambazonians. We gave ourselves that name. We established the name, and we made the name become international. I'm telling you that there's power in identity. There's power in name. If you are going around calling yourself a Northwest man or a Southwest man, you are still in Cameroon colonial mentality. And we need to free you Ambazonians from your thinking first. First from the thinking. Then we can when we change your thinking, your heart is going to change. Your heart is going to change. So if you go around calling yourself Southwest, Northwest, you are still under colonial mental education from Cameroon. And colonial identity, you must get rid of those things, Ambazonians. You must decolonize your mind. Decolonize your mind and your education. Decolonize yourself, Ambazonians. We shouldn't go to where with a colonial identity. We shouldn't. And that is what Cameroons want. When you even look today in Africa, Ambazonians, when you look today in Africa, when we talk about Pan-Africanism, some Africans are like, they are clinking like, oh, no, we are Kenyans, we are Tanzanians, we are Zimbabweans, we are these countries. No, we are Africans. We were Africans first before the Berlin Conference divided us into tiny, small countries. And this is the same argument we are putting today to people, that Africa need to come together as one. In the fact that we dissolve these borders and have free movement of people, free movement of goods and services, and a united Africa with one economy, one currency, and one army. It's the same with Southern Cameroons. You cannot be running away from Cameroon and you are keeping a colonial identity. You call yourself a Southwest person and another person a Northwest person. Please, you have to decolonize your mind. Our educational system was even polluted, and all those things need to be decolonized. So don't go around with a colonial identity and claiming to be a patriot of Southern Cameroons. You are not. If you are a patriot of Southern Cameroons, you must call yourself and hold yourself to who you are, an Ambazonian and nothing less. So this is the technique of Cameroon. They now use our leaders, our chiefs, and put our people to fight against one another. And this is something that we must not make joke with Ambazonians. If you take a job with Cameroon to sell Ambazonians, you must understand that your generations are going to pay. The chiefs and any other person, activists in the diaspora, those in ground zero. If you join the enemy's camp, we are going to treat you as an enemy till the end of time. And these are things that we must make very clear. That the divide that Cameroon is doing is to divide public support. Listen, when you divide public support, you can break down Ambazonians. If you succeed to put the people from the Bakwere people, the Fako people against those from Momo, Mungamo, and other places, if you put us fighting together, if you divide public support of this revolution, the revolution is going to delay, or it might even derail. So the division that Cameroon is bringing is to bring down and to divide the public support of Southern Cameroons. You will see when Eugene is speaking, they say, oh, I will support that man because he's from Tiko. When this person is speaking, so I don't support him because he's from Bamenda, or he's from Mancon, or this man is speaking, okay, I support him because he's from Manfe. No. That is what Cameroon wants to do, to divide the public support of this struggle. And you are playing a very weak role, a bad role, by buying into that. You join the narrative of Cameroon, calling people Southwest and Northwest, calling yourself also Southwest and Northwest. You are support. You are dividing. And I want to remind Ambazonians that there was no homogeneous Southwest or Northwest. Never in our history that we have been, you have like a homogeneous community. No, it never existed before. It's a lie. Our people were living together as one people. There was never a time that you never have people from Bamenda or from Kambe or from Manfe in Kambe, or people from Kambe in Manfe. Southern Cameroon has never been any homogeneous community, never in a time. You know, so these people like Moja, they don't speak for anyone. They don't speak even for them. They speak for themselves. Our people must understand these things. Why do you fall victim of this kind of stuff? And we must understand, this is the same tactics people like Hitler used in Germany to divide the population in Germany and use the German people to fight and commit genocide and kill millions of people around the globe. It's the same ideology to divide the people. Put them against themselves. It's the same technique. The same thing was used in Rwanda. And we know what happened in Rwanda in 1994. The genocide that took place there. The two tribes the two tribes was put together and they fight themselves. And that's what happened. Chiefs went out on the street and did the same things like Moja is doing. Chiefs went out on the street and did the same thing like Tanganji is doing. Those things happen in Germany and in Rwanda. And if you know very well, in Rwanda today, in Germany today, Germany is still paying till today for their crimes against humanity. Germany is still paying the international community for the evil that they committed in the world. So when you join Cameroon to fight Ambazonians, let me assure you very clear, you shall pay. Your children shall pay. Their generation of your generation are going to pay. It is a very clear thing. It's going to happen. It happens in Rwanda, it's in Germany as well. So don't be confused. Don't be confused. When you see people like Moja, who is a bee, he's an army. He's a soldier. He's a soldier. And at the same time, he's a chief. Listen, Ambazonians. We must understand this in that Cameroon is using tradition for money. You know, and our people are using our tradition, Ambazonians. Our tradition, which is the most beautiful thing that we have. Our traditional rulers have sold their soul to the devil until they descend to a very low level that they use our tradition. And they are selling it for money. They are using our tradition now as an instrument for money to get rich for themselves and their family. They use that our tradition now, Ambazonians, our tradition to incite evil and hate among our people. Until Moja is going around with his short knicker, using our tradition, wearing our traditional hat on his head. He said, this is my crown. He's walking around with the crown of the people back with the people. The crown of his village on his head, going around to infuse hate within Southern Cameroons. Oh, God. Listen, Ambazonians. Listen, it is painful. In fact, it is shameful to see how Cameroon have reduced us to this way. Look at how Cameroon have reduced our chiefs who used to be honorable people. When the Germans came to Ambazonia, our chiefs stood their grounds. Listen, you studied our history. You know the treaty that was signed by the Bali chief, the clans in Northwest, in Bamenda, in Manfe. The Manfe resistance. Our chiefs were leaders with prestige and glory of to defend their people. But today we have chiefs who walk around with a traditional crown on their head, inciting hate and instrumenting our tradition to divide our people for money given to them by Cameroon. For money given to them by Cameroon. We shall not forgive these people. Moja beg for forgiveness. No. If Moja wants to be forgiven, let him go back and ask forgiveness from Sam Sawyer. Mami Apin, Baby Mata, and many others. Let Moja go back and ask forgiveness for the 40 kids that were killed in Pinin. He should go back there and ask forgiveness from the kids who were killed in Gabu, the massacre in Gabu. If he can go to those people and those people forgive him, then he comes to us, those of us who are alive, then we shall forgive him as well. But we cannot forgive anyone on behalf of the dead. No. If you cross the line, it's done for you. It is done for you, Ambazonians. Instead for our chiefs to use our tradition to bring tourism to Ambazonia. Look at the Maasai tribe in Kenya. Yeah? In Tanzania. Maasai people, they preserve their culture. We have one of the best culture in Africa. We have one of the best traditional outfits in the entire Africa. But our chiefs and traditional rulers are using our tradition and culture to incite hate and division. They are selling our tradition to Cameroun for money. And you want me or you to respect such a person, to call them as a chief? No, they are not our leaders, Ambazonians. They are not our leaders. We also know of those leaders and chieftains that were created by Cameroun. Yes, we know. We know. Let me be honest with you, Ambazonians. Let me be honest. Ambazonians, you know, when a traditional ruler, when a chief, instead of the chief to become an asset to the people of Southern Cameroons, instead of the chief to use our tradition to become an asset to the international system, the chief decided to use our tradition, our culture, to become a liability to Southern Cameroons. Ambazonians, that is not a chief. That is not anybody you should respect. No. Those people have already exiled themselves in the minds of Southern Cameroons. They are like walking ghosts. They don't exist to us anymore. And we have to be very clear, Ambazonians. If we go back and look into Southern Cameroons, you look into our history and see that we used to have like 4 major tribes in Ambazonia. 4 major tribes. Go back and dip your history. And when we get to Boya Ambazonians, we shall bring anthropologists to come in. Ambazonian anthropologists, I don't mean we shall bring foreigners. We are going to bring Ambazonian anthropologists. We have them who are going to sit down with the government or the leaders of that of in Boya and map out a new Ambazonian territory with the villages and the chiefs as it used to be. We are going to wipe out all these so-called chiefs that were installed by Cameroon, all these colonial chiefs that were created by Cameroon, fake chiefs created by Cameroon. We Ambazonians, let me tell you guys something. These are some things that we need to be talking to ourselves. We are going to restore back the glory of our chiefs and chieftaincy titles in Ambazonia. We are going to restore the independence of chiefs after independence. We are going to restore the glory to these people back again and put them back to where they belong. We shall do that. We shall create a system that will not be overthrown by any colonial manipulation. A system that will be governed by the people. I mean, an indigenous system of governance where we should be rebranding ourselves when we get to Boya. I am coming to that. I am coming to that. But I want to say something here, Ambazonians. I don't need to even put more of my time on it. I just want to say this very quick. Moja and any other person in Limbe, Boya, Manfe, Tiko, Mutengene, Likumba, Musaka, Miselele, any other person, I don't call that place Southwest. No, I never did. Who comes out and is opening their mouth and talking nonsense in the name of division? Ambazonians, I was ashamed that look at the people who represent us. Look at the kind of human beings who are coming out and representing Southern Cameroons. Look at how Cameroon reduced we. Oh God. Look at how Cameroon reduced us, Ambazonians. Look at the so-called people who call themselves chiefs. Look at them. Are those really chiefs? Who made them chiefs? Who? It's a shame. When I look at that thing, I was like, oh no. I couldn't even get angry. I was ashamed of myself. I was ashamed of myself as an Ambazonian to see Moja coming out. Like, this is a guy who called himself a chief, a banga smoker. Ambazonians, we should be ashamed instead of being angry. When I look at the chief of the Saw chief who went to vote in helicopter and with heavy military, I was ashamed because this is what we have not become. We have not been reduced to dogs. Weber was right. Weber was right that Cameroon have a technique of beating Ambazonians, break their bones, and then throw them bones to eat as dogs to fight on. Give them small money. We have been reduced to the level of dogs. Ambazonians. We must disown those people. We must disown people. We must disown them. There is power in your name. There is power in your identity. So don't use this colonial Southwest and Northwest that was brought in 1972. That is not your name, and that must stop in Southern Cameroons. That must stop. Every Southern Cameroonian activist or person who report any story and call Southern Cameroon Northwest or Southwest, we shall also summon them to answer where and who gave them the authority to call a part of our territory as Northwest and Southwest. We are going to make this very clear. Even to the international community, there is no Southwest and Northwest in Ambazonia. Ambazonia is one, and the division must stop. And this is something Cameroon is using also to divide us in the international community. This is what they are doing as well. They are telling the international community that, oh, this is two regions. It's two regions. These are two people. Like, listen, Ambazonians, reason with me here. We are telling the world that we are one nation. Cameroon is telling the world that we are two people. You see how that works for Cameroon? Cameroon is telling the world that we are two people. We are not one. Because it is winning for them to say that we are two. That no, these people, you see them, they are very different. They are not even homogeneous. They are very different people. They are not one people. They are different people. That is the game Cameroon is playing. And you are playing the game as well. We must be wise. We must stop this colonial divide of Ambazonia. Ambazonia is one. Every journalist or activist who write any story, Bank, Barata, Eric, Tato, Capo, Daniel, all of these people, if you call Ambazonia or any territory of Ambazonia as Northwest or Southwest, you will answer to us when and who gave that name to Ambazonia, any territory in Ambazonia as Southwest or Northwest. You will tell us who gave that name. There's no place in Ambazonia known as Northwest or Southwest. No. So people must understand. People must understand that we must stop this colonial name. We must stop it. And ignore people like Wonja Wonja. When I look at them, we talk about Kuvalingenya, we talk of great Ambazonian leaders who fought and freed our people from the Germans. So we must now understand the technique Cameroon is using. This is why when they brought this so-called county by county thing, I said, no, I will not be part of county by county because I know county by county is spreading division. It is going to draw tribal lines. It's going to fund and produce dirty politics. And we are here today. County by county. Now they are telling you are from Momo, you are from Indian, you are from Kupe Maningba, go there, come here. No. We cannot fight this war in a divided manner. As a divided people. No, it will not going to work, Ambazonians. Our last hope is to stay as one people and prosecute this revolution to the finish line as one people. If we fail to present ourselves as one people, Ambazonians, we will not get to Buea. We will not get to Buea. We must project our oneness. We must project our own one identity. Distance yourself from the so-called divide of Northwest and Southwest that was created by Cameroon to integrate us into their rubbish country. We are not any part of Cameroon. We are not any. There's no part in Ambazonia that is demarcated as Northwest and Southwest. We have our international border that we inherited. Do you want me to tell you those borders? Where they are? The treaties that were marked to sign those borders? Do you want me to tell you? The Anglo-German Treaty? The Mina-Simon Treaty? You want me to give you those treaties that mark the border of Southern Cameroon? There's no demarcation there in Ambazonia as Northwest and Southwest. That name was given to you by Cameroon. And Ambazonians, let me tell you something. Now, when you look within Cameroon, you see how they are using Ambazonians to fight us. When you see Cameroon is going to have a meeting in the international system to meet, like recently, I think a couple of months ago, Atanganji led the delegation to EU to talk about Cameroon crisis. They always send Ambazonians now. So when they send Ambazonians, the person is coming like, you see, I am also from Ambazonia. And those people are just causing problem from the diaspora. We are fine, everything is okay. Because it is good for Cameroon. And that is what they are doing. They are recruiting Ambazonians now to fight us. But when you look at this thing, for example, Ambazonians, look clearly here. There's one Ambazonian person who is in the center of Cameroon government. Diongute. Listen, Ambazonia, that man is a seasoned diplomat. I respect him because he's a seasoned diplomat. Diongute has never been out fanning any hatred towards Southern Cameroonians. Diongute has never made any public comment anywhere that is incriminating him in this issue. Yes, he's part of the Cameroon regime, but the man knows that Ambazonia is going to be independent. Diongute knows that Ambazonia is going to win Cameroon, and he's saving himself. The man is working on the line, you know, peacefully. He doesn't want to do anything because he knows that at the end of the day, there will be justice. There will be justice. And when there will be justice, he is going to face justice as well. And when that time comes, he can say, okay, you see, I was doing this, I was doing that, I didn't do any stuff. So Diongute is very smart. Atanganji is a very stupid man. And that's why you see Atanganji is going around talking every day and night, doing stuff, forgetting that he's going to go to prison. He's going to face justice, just like in Rwanda. Those who took part in dividing the people and funding the killings of people in Rwanda, they made justice. And Diongute, Ambazonians, we are following his activities. The man is walking on the line to save himself from the judgment that is coming, to save himself from the penalty that is coming, the consequences of Cameroon occupying Amazonia. And this is something that people need to know, that this man is very intelligent. And that is why he's playing this very intelligent role, to not to incriminate himself. But fools like Wonja go out speaking, running their mouth. And Wonja is already guilty of hate crime. He's already guilty of genocide. He is. There is no way he's going to get out of that. So, Ambazonians, we need to understand these things and look at them very well. That those who infuse division and hatred within Southern Cameroons, those who engage themselves in bad politics in Ambazonia, they have no place and they have no hiding place. We shall get them all like snakes and cut off their head. We will do that. Their children will pay for their crimes and their entire generation. It's very clear. We must understand these things. There is no escape for them. There will be no escape for anyone. There will be no escape. When people like that come out, speaking for themselves, we must distance ourselves from them. Don't join the bandwagon. Don't. And by the way, Ambazonians, Ambazonia is a mix, is a heterogeneous community. People are mixed. And if you want to start to tell Ambazonians from you go here, you stay, listen, Ambazonia, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't go that way. That is clear stupidity. I will not even dare into that. I will not even dare to that. Because in Ambazonia, we have people that their father is from Kambe, their mother is from Manfe. We have people that their mother is from Manfe, their father is from Ekondo Titi. We have people that their mother is from Limbe, and their father is from Meta. We have people that their mother is from Gi, and their father is from Boya. So how do you go and divide, to separate those people and their families? How? How? We are one people, and we have always been one. The Northwest and Southwest thing was created by Cameroon. And I'm giving this information to the Ambazonians. And we shall communicate these things very clearly to the international community. Everybody must stop calling any territory of Southern Cameroon as Northwest and Southwest. That is a colonial name given to our country by Cameroon. We refuse that and we reject it. If a Southern Cameroonian, any activist, from now is reporting any story in Ambazonia and they call the name, they quote any part of our country as Northwest and Southwest, they will answer to Southern Cameroonians who gave that territory that name, Northwest and Southwest. Who? Because it is the same identity. If you want to do that kind of stuff, you are telling us that we are nothing less than a second-class citizen. We are not Northwest and Southwest. We are not. So we need to understand these things. And Ambazonians, these things are very easy to see. They are very clear to see, Ambazonians, that Cameroon has been defeated. They have no means anymore. They have nothing anymore to do than to fight and kill time with Ambazonians and use us within ourselves. That is all their stuff they are doing. We must understand those things. And I want to, speak about something to Ambazonians. The power of identity, the power of self-image. You see, the Jewish people were slaves in Germany. They were slaves around the world. They dosed themselves up, they picked themselves up and said, no, we are the chosen people of God, the Jewish people, and we are going to go back to our territory. Imagine what the Jewish people went through. Imagine what they went through. But they were able to pick themselves up and establish one of the strongest military nations today we have on earth. We are going to do the same in Southern Cameroon. We are going to pick ourselves up and put back the finest democracy in Africa. We are going to put up the most developed country in Africa within a couple of years. We are going to Buea. We are going to Buea. And Ambazonians, after independence, when we get to Buea, all those chieftains that were created by Cameroon, we are going to wipe them out. We are going to withdraw our things back to the old days. We are going to remove all those chiefs that were created by Cameroon. We shall remove them all. We wipe them out. And our chiefs will be just traditional rulers who will be there to have the mantle to project our culture and tradition, Ambazonians. We shall not dissolve our cultures. No. Our tradition and culture will be protected and preserved, and in fact projected upward, Ambazonians. But we shall take out the fake chiefs and chiefdoms created by Cameroon. We shall wipe them out and leave just the original chiefs who were there. The original chiefs that were there, we are going to put them in place. We shall not leave any colonial chief or colonial chiefdom. We shall wipe them out completely from Ambazonia. We shall wipe them. And we are going to create a system of governance that will be indigenous based. Every community will be in charge of their own responsibility to develop their community and their culture. We're not going to use any colonial system of governance here. Power to the people at every level. And our chief shall be just chief. No chief will be involved in politics. This thing called House of Counts chiefs is completely nonsense. The chief will focus only on being a traditional ruler. To be a chief, a custodian of the tradition, nothing more. You will not be a chief and be a principal. You will not be a chief and become a B. You will not be a chief and become a prime minister or a PM. No, you will be a chief and be a custodian of the traditional religion of Southern Cameroons. You will not be a chief and anything else. It will not happen. We shall go back to the roots of our culture, Ambazonians. We shall go back. And when we get to Buea, Ambazonians, I want to give you hope. A new hope of a country that we are looking forward to, Ambazonians. Because I see that it is very easy that as we are struggling in this revolution, there's too much pain and agony. And we don't have time to always tell to Ambazonians, we don't have much time to look at the hope, look at the future. But let me project to you the hope, Ambazonians. Let me give you the hope that we have. Look around yourself. We have timber, we have waterfall in the Mention 4, we have rivers, we have the sea, we have minerals, we have, what you name it, we have everything you need. We have the human resources. We shall elevate Southern Cameroons within no time to look like Dubai. We shall build fast trains, fast moving trains that will move from, you will leave from Bamenda and within 2 hours you are in Tico. We are going to be airport in Tombe, in Manfe, in Ekok. Yeah? We are going to be airport everywhere in Southern Cameroons. Local flights will be flying up and down, moving people and goods and services. And we are going to rebrand even our educational system, rebrand our profession. There will be, for example, a massive irrigation project in Ambazonia to make sure that we have water to facilitate our agriculture. We shall revamp our agriculture in Ambazonia. You know, our people will feed from the soil. We have a very fertile soil. We shall make sure that there will be massive irrigation in Southern Cameroons. Our agriculture will be revamped. There will be farming of njamajama in Ambazonia throughout all the season. There will not be like, oh, there's dry season, we cannot have njamajama. We shall in njamajama all the season in Ambazonia, because we shall make sure there will be massive irrigation projects to facilitate our farmers and to help them to farm. We shall revamp and, increase our production of cocoa and coffee. Produce chocolate in Ambazonia. All these things we need to fight. And when we get to Buea, these are the things that you have to see. These are the things that we are going to have, Ambazonians. There will be jobs. There'll be jobs. There'll be jobs. We shall rebrand profession. If you're a mechanic, we'll not call you just mechanic, we'll call you mechanical engineer. You see in Ambazonia, in Africa, for example, you have mechanics, guys who are mechanical engineers, very intelligent guys who can fix cars even more than Europeans who build them. But they call themselves mechanics, and they demoralize the job. And nobody wants to become a mechanic. But when it comes to Europe and Western world, mechanics are called mechanical engineers. And these guys are fixing cars the same like in Africa with small shops. And they make money. So when we get to where we shall rebrand those in carpenters. You call them carpenter. They say you be bricklayer. You are not a bricklayer. You are a builder. A construction engineer. We shall rebrand the jobs. Even in Ambazonia now, we have people who are doing, they say that we call that, how we call them? They say nurse baby, or they say, what is this thing again? Housekeeper. No. Even in Western world, we have this, we call them personal assistants. Yeah? You have those nurses and doctors who work in elderly homes, taking care of sick people and elderly persons. But in Ambazonia, in Africa, we have demoralized those jobs. We laugh at those people who are doing those are very important jobs. We have to revamp them when we get to Boya. We make sure that there is prestige in every curriculum. And people will go after their passion and their dreams to work and to do what they love to do. It will not be an issue of having a PhD or a degree. No, we are going to revamp the third sector in Ambazonia. That people with hand skills, craft skill will be the most skilled and most wanted people in Ambazonia. If you can make cane chairs, the government will be there to support you to have a factory to produce those stuff and ship them to Europe. If you can produce cassava, bitter leaf, jama tomatoes, the government will be there to assist you process your tomatoes into tomato cans. Yeah, because I remember in Ambazonia, women go to market with tomatoes, and by the end of the day, they don't sell them, they throw them because they go bad. But Ambazonia will be a place where the government will be even buying those excess tomatoes and make them into canned tomatoes, and we shall have canned tomatoes at home. We're not going to import tomato paste. We shall produce them in Ambazonia. You shall produce your bitter leaf, and the government will produce them to make dollar. They will be packaged. Aero, the same stuff. And when you produce those stuff in Ambazonia, those bitter leaf, those cassava, and those gari, you can even ship them to the Ambazonian diaspora community in Europe, in America. Those will be business. Money is something that is in Ambazonia. And every farmer will become the richest person in Ambazonia. Farmers will become the richest and the most paid jobs in Ambazonia. Because we shall create the possibility for you to preserve your goods and services and to produce in mass scale and to export your product to Nigeria, to export your product to Ghana, to export your product to the whole of Africa, and to export your products to Europe and America. You shall produce your cassava farm. You can live just by producing cassava in Ambazonia. You have a large farm of cassava. With the help of the government, you produce your cassava, you make your gari, you export your gari straight to Europe. To the Ambazonian diaspora community, the African diaspora community eat a lot of gari and they'll buy them. You make money. If you produce in Jama, you have a big farm of Jama with the government supporting irrigation and your product get to Europe, Ambazonians. We shall build a country that like never before. We are blessed, we have it all. But with the help of a government, listen, a country cannot succeed without a government. If you remember when we were southern Cameroun, before Cameroun came, it's sad, Ambazonians. When you look back those things, our agriculture was the best. Our farmers were the richest people you can think of. I remember this thing because I was a small boy then. Our farmers were so rich because we have the Southern Cameroun Farming Union. The farmers union in Southern Cameroun was responsible to produce, to give these cocoa farmers with the chemicals to spray their farm, education and support. We shall revamp those things all. Now our farmers are the poorest people in Ambazonia. The farmers are now suffering because they cannot even preserve their njama. They cannot even produce large quantity. They have no support. The farming industry in Ambazonia will become the biggest industry we are going to have. And that is where we are going to, the Ambazonian government is going to put their focus on farming. Because if Africa have to succeed, the agriculture of Africa must be the most important thing in Africa. We shall produce our tomatoes. We shall produce our okra. We shall produce njama. We shall produce bitter leaf. We shall produce everything we eat, granite, all in Ambazonia in large scale. in large scale, and we shall export them as well. So don't Ambazonians. The work is long, but we must push. This is the hope we live for. It will not be that you need to go to boarding school, and then from there you need to go to Sase, or you need to go to Bishop Rogan, you need to go to CKC. No, you don't need to go to University of Boya to get a PhD before you get a job. You don't need to have your physical labor in Ambazonia when we get to Boya. You need to be a physical labor. We have to produce a marketing board to sell our product. To sell our product internationally. Our farmers will be the most richest people in Southern Cameroon. I am telling you, just wait and see. It's a blessed country. We shall have jobs, office jobs. We have suffered for real. We have suffered. We have suffered. Cameroon came, they destroyed our agriculture. Cameroon came and they made you to understand that, oh, if you are a farmer, you are a useless person. You are nothing. No. Cameroon came and made you think that if you are a mechanic, you are nothing. No, that's a lie. Cameroon came and made you think that if you have craft skill to make cane chairs and to make beds and to build house, you are nothing. That is lie. Those are lies. A carpenter, a bricklayer is a builder. A carpenter is a construction engineer. We have mechanical engineers. We have all those people. We shall rebrand them. We shall rebrand those professions. All those what they call them nurse baby. No, it will be personal assistant. That's the official name to call them. We are going to rebrand those things and put at least minimum wage for all those jobs. You will not need to have a degree to earn a living in Southern Cameroon. No, you just need to be a Southern Cameroonian and work hard. You just need to have the human instinct to work hard. You work hard and you earn a living in Southern Cameroon. We shall encourage our people. We shall decolonize this old colonial mind of Cameroon that you need to be a doctor, a PhD. When you look even today within Ambazonian community, you see everyone, I am a PhD, I am doctor this, I am, because you have been trained that you have to be a doctor to be anything. You have been taught that without you being a doctor, you cannot be anything. We shall break all those things. We shall deconstruct them. We shall decolonize all those thinking. Even the identity of Northwest and Southwest shall be dissolved in Southern Cameroons. Will be dissolved. Will be dissolved. You know, will be dissolved. People need to know this stuff. Our people need to know this thing. So Ambazonians, like I was saying, the politics of our revolution, you already know by now. You already know. There are good politics and dirty politics. Be part of the politics, but don't join the bad politics of this struggle. Don't join. Don't join it. Because there will be no escape for you. There will be no forgiveness for you. Don't say you didn't know. Because we are telling you now. We are telling you right now. And I want to come to one session here that I have, Ambazonians. Cameroon, you know. Cameroon. The colonial Cameroon has 1 million excuses not to commit to any dialogue with Cameroon. You know, when with Ambazonians, when I look at the post and the statement from Dr. Abacho Lucas, that was powerful. You know, and you know, we laugh at Cameroon. We laugh. And Ambazonians, these are things that we have been telling some of you people. We have been telling you from the very beginning that Cameroon is not ready to talk with Ambazonians now. They are not willing. They are not ready. They are not committing. They are not. They are not. Look at the people. They are not ready for any dialogue. They went and massacred children in Gabo. They went to Penin. They went to Kumba. Burn villages. Massacre our people day and night. We told you Cameroon was not ready to any dialogue. You were thinking that we are just against some people. No, we're not. That was the truth. That was the truth. And you see the truth today. Cameroon is not committed. And now, when I said that, when I'm saying this, I want you to know something. These are the last chapter of Cameroon occupation of Southern Cameroon. We are seeing the last chapter of Cameroon. That's why Cameroon is leaving behind complete, absolute devastation. Everywhere they go, they destroy, they kill, and they rape women. It's the end of Cameroon. You know, Ambazonians, always the pride comes before the fall. It's always the arrogance before the collapse. Cameroon is now living with pride. Cameroon is now arrogant. But the fall is near. The fall is right before them. They are going to take the fall very soon. You know, they say when God wants to destroy any nation, God first of all make their leaders, make the people in the country become impervious to reasoning and logic. So they will walk themselves to death. They will walk themselves to suicide. Cameroon think that they are fighting about the Cameroon is committing suicide. And the suicide of Cameroon is they are reluctant to give up on Ambazonia. The suicide Cameroon is committing is that they are thinking that they are fighting Ambazonia, but they are killing themselves. Cameroon need to move on. Ambazonia was never part of Cameroon. Ambazonia was occupied by Cameroon. Ambazonia will and will never be part of Cameroon. The people of Southern Cameroon already they are saying no and no and no. Cameroon need to move on. Ambazonians, look for example, Somaliland and Somalia. Recently, many African countries are moving towards recognizing Somaliland. Yeah, it's going on. One of the first ones is Malawi. Is moving towards recognizing Somaliland. They sent a delegation there, they meet them, their president came and they're having meetings, they are moving forward. Kenya as well. And if you are following on Twitter, Ambassador Cohen was tweeting as well. He said that Somalia should move on. Should move on because Somaliland will never be part of Somalia again. That they should just go ahead. It was a mistake in the first place that they were one country. They should move on. And this says the same thing to Cameroon. Cameroon and Ambazonia was a mistake. It was a mistake to even think that we can try to have a union together with these people in any way. It was a bloody mistake. And now Cameroon need to move on. So Cameroon, if you're listening, Ambazonians will never become your citizens. Ambazonia will never be part of Cameroon anymore. It is never going to happen. We are going to fight and resist Cameroon till the last man standing. If we need to fight this struggle for the rest of our life, we are committed and willing to fight till the end of our lives. Ambazonia will never be a slave again to Cameroon. Ambazonia will never be occupied again by a foreign brutal regime that will bring evil on our land. It will never happen. Cameroon needs to move on. We send this clear message to Cameroon and their colonial delegate in Amazonia that you are living in pride, the same as this stupid riffraff and moja walking around. The pride comes after the fall. It comes just before the fall. The arrogance of Cameroon is coming just before the fall. And Cameroon need to understand that the earlier they pack their bags out of Amazonia, the less consequences that we have on them. Because we shall drag Cameroon down to every court that exists in this planet. We shall make sure Cameroon pay for Southern Cameroon for the next 300 years. Just as the Germans are still paying for their crimes they committed to the world. Cameroon will pay. So when we tell Ambazonia that Cameroon is not ready for any dialogue, some people were thinking that we were just playing games. No, we were not. We're honest. We're honest. People need to understand these things. People need to understand that Cameroon is not ready. That is not the people who are ready. The only solution to us going forward is for Ambazonians to increase their self-defense, fight Cameroon and push them out. We need to revamp our gun-boot diplomacy. That's the only solution to our freedom. We must continue to fight. That's the way forward. There's no ambiguity in that particular vision. And we must push forward. And something that we are doing also in diplomacy, Ambazonians, we are engaging the international system heavily and seriously. And we are going into the lion's den. And the lion's den is France. We are engaging France heavily. We need to engage France. We have been studying the situation, but now we are engaged. We are going to engage France very fully and heavily. And in the days ahead, you will get some news, and we had some conversations and stuff are going on. In the days ahead, you get some breaking news coming from Ambazonians in relation to France. Because in politics, Ambazonians, not politics, diplomacy. In diplomacy, the enemies of your enemy should become your friend. But the friends of your enemy, you need to make friends with them. Cameroon is friend to France. But Ambazonians, we can propose, we can meet France, and we can sort Cameroon out. When we have a strong ground power, and that is something we need to do. And that's something we're going to do. And the international community is paving towards Ambazonian. Like I told you guys last time, the UN doesn't speak for nothing. They speak and then they make a resolution. And the next thing that is coming, and Cameroon is already fighting, is a coming resolution on Southern Cameroon crisis with Cameroon. And the UN Security Council is on their move. And with the months ahead, after this Xmas season, January, by February, we are getting to get new developments on this. And when we have a resolution on this issue, then we are going forward. Like we said, the only mediation that can give us independence must be mandated by the UN Security Council, must be empowered by them, and there must be a resolution that backs that mandate and backs that process. And then, that kind of a mediation process, we have the political muscles to bring Cameroon on the table to talk with Ambazonians. Don't go deceive yourself with any Swiss cheese or cake or Swiss whatever you call it. All those things were tools of Cameroon just meant for buying time, to divide Ambazonians, to kill our time, to divide us, bribe some people and to take out some strength from the struggle. It was never meant to give us anything. The only thing that the Swiss person was meant to give Ambazonians was to deliver them back to Cameroon. That was the only thing. That was the only thing that the Swiss person was meant to do. So yes, we are engaging France, Ambazonians. We are. That's where the battle is. We must go to the heat. We must go to where the dance is hot, and that's France. We are not going to put how many things on public here, but those are the things that we are going to be doing. So Ambazonians, I think that I am now almost 1 hour something here on this live show. We need to understand these things. The biggest weapon Cameroon have right now is to use Southern Cameroonians to fight themselves. Is to divide and to fan hate between Southern Cameroons. To divide the popular support of this struggle. To divide the people of Boya, Limbe, Tiko, Musaka, Meselele, from those from Manfe, from those from Ekiliwindi, Kupe Maningu Batombe, Nyasoso, from those from Babanki, Meta, and those other places. We must put ourselves together as one people. There is no Southwest and Northwest. It has never existed. We used to have only 4 major tribes in Ambazonia. 4 major tribes. All these chiefs that have been created by Cameroon, we shall demolish them when we get to Boya. We are one people. We are never a divided people. So any Southern Cameroonian who calls themselves Northwest or Southwest, you are calling yourself by colonial identity given to you by Cameroon. You are calling yourself by that. It's the same I tell Africans every day. If you call yourself a black person, you are calling yourself by colonial identity given to you by the Europeans, because you are not black. And nobody is also white. You are African. That's your real identity. You have to identify yourself with your culture, with your ethnicity, rather than your skin color, which is even false. So if any Ambazonian want to even call themselves by their nature or by their ethnicity or by their origin, you can say you are from Tiko. Like I call myself the Tiko Chai. That's the thing. I'm a Tiko Chai because I'm proud of my hometown. I'm proud of where I'm coming from. If Prince Jeka is part of Limbe, he says he's from Limbe, he's a Victoria boy. Not even Victoria, Limbe. You know, if you are from Musaka, say you're a Musaka person, or you are from you know, if you are from Bamenda, from any place, you say you are from this person, from this place. It's very simple. Don't use this Cameroon language of Southwest and Northwest. It never existed. We must continue to push this struggle. Let me see this La Republic guys here. Just need to block some of these people. Yeah. All right, let's move on. We don't need to go into these things, Ambazonians. We all know this stuff. We are one people, and we must continue the struggle together as one. The moment we divide ourselves, the moment we start to fight ourselves, this struggle will be done. Will be over. It will be over. Then the international system is going to believe Cameroon, come in and further integrate us into Cameroon. Yes. So we must stand as one people, and we are not going to buy the Cameroon's identity of Northwest and Southwest. There's no Northwest and Southwest in Ambazonia. We are one people and one nation. And Ambazonians, I think that we need to understand that those who are fighting against Ambazonians today in this struggle, they are not Cameroon people. They are Ambazonians. Activists, soldiers, and leaders. Many of them are now agents and proxy agents of Cameroon, and they are fighting against our freedom. We must understand these things, and we must know these people for who they are, and take our stance to move forward. But Ambazonians, thank you very much for today. I think that I need to run for something else, and next week again we have 1 week. We are going to come back next week. I'll be live again with you guys, and January 8th, there's a live show coming with a very important guest I'm going to bring, and we shall talk more about the French connection and what we are doing with France by then. So thank you very much for this live show, and as our tradition, I will not leave without putting our anthem for a few minutes, and then we round up the show. Thank you very much. God bless you, Ambazonians. Shortly the struggle, and long live Ambazonia. Glory to glory, we rise to never to fall. Yeah, in a nation flowing with milk and honey. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation and joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Yes, fellow Ambazonians. I think there's one guy who is saying something about speaking English. Listen, Ambazonians, I just have to say this before I leave. Cameroon came and they forced us to speak French. The British came, they forced us to speak English. All these are not our languages. We have our own native languages. So, and Africans need to understand as well that speaking fluent English or good English is not any measurement of intelligence or knowledge. It is not. It's just a language. If you want me to communicate in my dialect, I will communicate better in my dialect than English or French. So these are all the colonial mindset of Africans. We need to decolonize ourselves. We need to really do that. So we must stop. I see this all the time, and this is something we have been talking, that maybe when we get to Boya, we shall make our form of Ambazonian Pidgin to be an official language. Or something. We shall form something, but not this English or French. Ambazonians. Because speaking fluent English is just a language. It's something you can study to become an expert on. And my field of education is not English language. So don't come and try to measure somebody's knowledge or intelligence based on how they speak English, which is a foreign language meant for people from England. Africans, we need to move on. We need to really grow up in Africa. We need to decolonize our mind to see these things. They taught you that if without speaking French and speaking fluent French, you are not a Cameroonian. You buy that. The same with English, Ambazonians. It's the same with the name Southwest and Northwest. Stop calling yourself Southwest and Northwest, because you are not a Southwest and Northwest person. You are an Ambazonian. There's nothing more. And I hope this message goes to all and we start to practice. As we call ourselves Ambazonians, not Southern Cameroons, we should call ourselves also Ambazonians, not Southwest and Northwest. Every person must adopt this new identity. Our original image is people of Ambazonia. We are not Southwest or Northwest people. Thank you. God bless you. And we'll see you next week Sunday. Ciao and goodbye.